What is going on, race fans? It is Snowman Cycling. I am back from my break with another race recap video for you. And in this week's episode, we're going to take a look back at a particularly savage ZRL race where I took on not one, not two, but 6 laps of Two Bridges Loop in Watopia, in what turned out to be one of the most attritional, brutal, and leg-sapping races I've ever done. And as a bonus, this one's got an exciting finish, so make sure you stick around to the end. We'll have a look at that one, we'll dissect it, we'll see what happened. But for now, let's jump into this one. And as with all ZRL races, the segments are going to be FTS and FAL points, so fastest through the segment and first across the line. And for this race, that segment is just one sprint, so this sprint across the bridge. And then the only other real difficulty is the first half of that Watopia KOM, the bypass, that we are climbing right now. And as we went through that first sprint, I saved my energy, I didn't do anything. I had teammates to do the work for me, but here on this climb, I'm putting in a bit of a dig. It's my duty every time we get to this climb to try and bin off a few riders if we can. As always, use our strength, try and get rid of some of those weaker riders, make it easier for ourselves later on. The only thing is we're going to have to be careful not to use too much energy on these surges. Remember, the 6 lap. So even though my legs feel pretty good at this point, I'm going to need to keep some of that powder dry for later on if we're going to want to be effective in the later stages of this race. And that first time around the bypass looked pretty decent. We've thinned that group down. There's only about 20 riders in this front group now. So already down to 1/3 of those riders as we approach the second lap, and we're going to hit this sprint again. Now, because there's only a few riders in this group, unfortunately for me and my teammate David, that means we're going to have to try and pick up some points every single lap. That's quite the morale sapper, but it has to be done. If you want to win ZRL races, you've got to get the most team points. So me and David make a massive effort to get off the front of this group and to try and catch the rider who was just dangling off the front there. We managed to come past him, and we do our best to hold on as the group behind comes bearing down on us. Everybody starts unleashing their sprints. Me and David are at a disadvantage. We're already going to be going slower because we're off the front, so we do get caught by a couple of riders. But we managed to get the bulk of the points there. Me and David both getting top 4. And then it's going to be about recovering before we attack the KOM bypass again. And as we're doing that, I'm going to give you guys a quick update on what I've been doing the last few weeks. I've taken 3 weeks off making these videos. I've been making a video every single week since October, so taking a little bit of a break, as unfortunately me and my girlfriend have been a little bit ill, but mainly to concentrate on an in real life fondo that I'm doing in just a couple of weeks at the end of April. I've been thinking about vlogging that one and turning it into a video. Let me know in the comments below, would you like to see me do some in real life content, make a vlog of that ride with my teammates, show you what the ride was like? Is that something you'd be interested in seeing, or should I just stick to the Zwift videos? Let me know below. And as we turn our attention back to the race, when we went over that bypass, we can see we put in another bit of a dig. We didn't really manage to get rid of anybody. The riders in this group are pretty strong. It's unlikely we're going to bin many riders off, but we got to give it a bit of a try. And as we come back around again to this sprint, you know the drill, we're going to have to try and do it again. So this time I come from the back of the group thinking maybe I can get a bit more draft as I come through. And I come powering past David. As we go over the crest, I've got like a 10-meter gap over David and a couple of seconds over everybody else. But this sprint, it's really tricky if you're the front rider, and I just go too late. So I didn't take advantage of the speed on the descent, and I went way too late at the bottom. You've got to try and just go from halfway down that climb. Otherwise, the people coming behind you are just going so much faster that even if you're doing more power than they are, like I did then, you're going to get overtaken. So valuable lesson there. Let's see if I can take that on board the next time we come around. But for now, once again, we're already back at this KOM bypass. This course really is just the 2 difficulties, the sprint and the bypass, and it's trying to recover between the 2 of them and then basically going as hard as you can. And I just want to draw your attention, those of you with eagle eyes may have spotted there was some chat going on. There's a rider off the front, C. Barlow, who unfortunately was cheating in this race. He was disqualified after the fact for doing over 5 watts per kilo for the average. We had a DS during this race and we knew he was going to be disqualified. So in our minds, that rider off the front is not on the road. We knew he was going to be disqualified, so we're acting like he's not even there. But man, were the people in this race angry. You could see from the chat multiple accusations from multiple different teams, people saying he's been doing it all season. So C. Barlow, Craig Barlow, hang your head in shame. And as we come back around for the next sprint, I'm going to try and learn my lesson from last time and sit more in the group until we come and just hit the bend right here, just about here. We're going to launch it from there and use the slingshot effect, the draft of the group, to bring me to the front. I don't pick up as many foul points this time, but I got a couple of fastest through the segment points. So much better than the last one. But I'm starting to run out of energy. This is starting to take its toll on the legs, on the gas tank, as we come back around for this KOM yet again on lap 4. Which means we've got this climb 3 more times. So if you're enjoying this suffering, if you're enjoying the pain, if you've enjoyed other videos, then please consider liking, commenting, and most importantly, subscribing to the channel. Whilst I've been off, we've managed to gain a few subscribers. We're on the way to my target goal of 1,000 subscribers that I've been filling you guys in on every week, which helps me unlock a load of YouTube features I don't currently have access to make it worth my while for making content. And we're now at over 80% of the way there, so really, really cool. Thank you guys so much for the support. Really does mean a lot. Helps this channel keep going. And we've got some really exciting things in the pipeline as a channel coming up over the next few months that I'm going to be really excited to share with you guys as I thank you for all your support. But I wouldn't leave you waiting for your daily dose of Zwift excitement, because in just 2 laps time, we've got the leg sapping crescendo of a finish to this race coming up. Which means that I'm going to elect to save my legs on this penultimate go through the sprint. I've given it 4 out of 6 goes, so I'm going to take it easy on this one. Save a little bit for the next lap where we're going to go all in on the sprint and all in on the KOM. But first, we've got to get through the penultimate bypass KOM. And again, on this one, I'm going to be trying to surf the wheels, do as little as I can to just make sure that I'm saving my legs for that last lap, because we've got a plan that I'm going to fill you in just a second. But before that, I want to ask your opinion. I want you guys to let me know in the comments down below. Whilst I've been off, I've been working on some ideas, as I mentioned earlier, and one of them is a podcast style once a month video, kind of like GCN Racing News, where we have a look at some of the exciting Zwift news. We introduce some weekly features like worst celebration of the week, and we have regular guests, including your favorite YouTubers. Does that sound like something you'd be excited to see? Do you want to see me branch out from just these race recaps? Let me know down below. I'm trying to understand if there's enough interest. But before we do that, we can see that I go absolutely all in on this last sprint, and I do my biggest power numbers, my fastest time, because I am laying down a marker. I'm letting these guys know that we are not messing around. So I launch it from here, smash the pedals with absolutely everything I've got, do my biggest power. I managed to come across the line in first, get first foul points. The rider that came past me there was actually my teammate that had been dropped on an earlier lap going for FTS again, which if you don't like that sort of tactical style for ZRL, I don't know what you're on about, because that's the way that you get the most points, and it's a points-based game, and it's within the rules. So if you don't agree with it, sorry, that's probably why you're not winning your ZRL division. But that sprint is not the finish line, unfortunately for me, because we've still got one major difficulty left on the menu, and I have got a plan coming up for this last leg snapping KOM right now, as we're going to have a look at it in real time. Now, we know that me and David will probably have quite a good chance in the sprint finish here, but why leave it to chance? Why go to a sprint finish with a group of 15 people? If we're the strongest riders, can we tease a select group out of this peloton and take it to a reduced group finish? That would be the ideal aim. But to do that, somebody's going to have to attack. So I go on the race radio and I say to David, my plan is to launch it all out with one big attack. You sit just behind. If anybody comes with me, you sit on their wheel and you come with them. You bridge across to me if anybody else can. So either I get away on this climb on my own, or you get a free ride to bridge up to me and force our rivals to work. And we've probably reduced that group to only a few anyway. So this totally makes the most sense. I have to commit with everything. I'm going all in here. I'm acting like this is my chance to win the race. I try and get as big a gap as I can. I totally cook myself there. It's about 7 watts per kilo for 1 minute, which at this stage in the race really, really hurt the legs. And I look behind to see what the damage is, and I can see that only 2 riders are able to respond. And one of them is my teammate David. So this is a fantastic situation for us. Our old rival Armitage is with him. You'll remember him from one of the old videos where we looked at a very similar finish to this one, where the 3 of us, me, David and Armitage, went to a sprint finish and I took the win. Armitage led out. On the race radio, at this point, I know Armitage and David are about to bridge up and join my group. So this is going to be a 3-man group sprint to the finish. I know at this point I am absolutely cooked and I've got very little left in the legs. And this is where being a good teammate comes into play, because we have the numerical advantage. And if we use our numbers right, we're going to win. But we have to use our numbers right. And that means to win these races from these scenarios, you have to be prepared to lose. And I'm acutely aware at this point that the group behind us is only 2 seconds, and it's coming down and down with every meter. So if we want to make sure that we're going to get 2 riders on the podium here, we're going to have to burn one of those riders to try and get the other one the win. If you remember, the first time we did this, I took the win. It was my first ZRL win. So I say to David, this time, buddy, I'm going to go from the front. I'm going to lead it out. You let Armitage sit on my wheel and you sit on his wheel. And hopefully, either I get away or you're going to get a free ride from Armitage up to the finish. But if we sit here and look at each other for too long, that group behind is going to take advantage and they're going to catch up to us. And then all of a sudden, then we might throw away the shot at the podium and the win. So this is the moment where I go all out. I lead it out from the front. I grit my teeth. I go all in with every last watt that I've got left, and I do my absolute best to just grit my teeth here and hang on at the front for as long as I possibly can. But the rider at the front is at such a disadvantage compared to the riders behind because of that slingshot draft effect that I just cannot hang on. I don't have the legs. But luckily for me, Armitage did the legwork. David comes around him, a drafting masterclass, to take the first place on the road. We used our numerical advantage. David takes the first. I take the third. I sacrificed myself to the team there, getting the third place. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's about the team victory, especially in these sorts of scenarios like ZRL. So 100% the right decision to sacrifice myself there. David had the power, and we forced Armitage into a really bad position that he could not win from. So game theory 101 there, really pleased with that one. I was a little bit frustrated that I didn't have the legs to get away on my attack at the end, but I really just didn't have anything left. My average power for this one was only 3.5, but my normalized power was 260 watts. That's 4.2 watts per kilo, so absolutely huge. So I hope you enjoyed the pain and the suffering in this one, guys. Make sure you smash that like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe button. And remember, most importantly, race fast, ride hard, and that you are appreciated.